Hello, I'm Yoshi, and in today's video, I will be going over my Master Premier submission for this season 2022. So, I decided to try and have some fun with Shadow Salamence. I did make this team 2 seasons ago in season 20, and yeah, as you can see on screen, it's Magnezone and Golden Go. So, without further ado, let's go into these battles now. In the first battle, we are fighting against a Metagross. So Metagross walls all of our moves, so we're going to bank a bit of energy and swap out into Golden Go. Now, they're not swapping into anything immediately, which means they're weak to it, as evidenced by their safe swap, Charm Primarina. Now, this is a very good matchup for Golden Go. I could decide to just not shield a Hydro Cannon here, but my thought process behind this is that their Metagross can't really damage our Golden Go unless they throw a charge move. So by shielding here, and going for a Hex farm down, we will have enough energy to threaten their last shield, and their Metagross will not be able to come in and just get free farm. So instead of coming in with a Metagross, they come in with a Dragon Breath Gyarados. So what this tells me is that Magnezone is very, very important here. So I pivot back into the Shadow Salamence. They bring in the Metagross. They wall all of our moves, but this fly from a Shadow Salamence is going to do a heap of damage. So now, they're in Dragon Tail farm down range, so I could shield this if I wanted to, but I choose not to, because Magnezone is a very clear win condition here. We do remember that we do have a move banked on Golden Go. They did not farm up to an Earthquake, which is why this is no shield. The Meteor Mash is double resisted, and they top left the game. We are versing against a rank 20 in the next battle, and they are leading with a Golden Go. Golden Go basically beats our whole team, because they're on Astonish, they're doing a bunch of damage to our Salamence right now. They can just live this fly, they can let it go, they won't be in farm down range at all, but they decide to shield, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shield back, and I'm gonna try and maybe swap into my own Golden Go, because surely the Hexes will outdamage the Astonishes. They bring in a Golisopod. Golisopod is also a very big problem for the team. They easily live a Shadow Ball here. They will be able to overfarm a bunch and go for an Aqua Jet on very good timing, which I have to let go. Because I can't... well, they go for an Aerial Ace, which is very interesting. So that means they're on X-Scissor and Aerial Ace, which is, fundamentally a pretty bad moveset. But they're bringing Golden Go and get an Astonish down. I do get one turn here. I don't think this really matters in the course of this match, because Magnezone has to beat their last Pokemon regardless. And they have a Goodra, which means this game is unwinnable, because Mirror Shot, well, despite them throwing on bad timing here, Mirror Shot only does about 16% to Goodra. This damage here is very sad. We will be hit with another Aqua Tail, but they should be able to just Dragon Breath farm us down after, and we don't have a way to take out the Golden Go. Second Mirror Shot coming through, still no attack debuff, but that's fine. This game wasn't really winnable, based on the team comp. They do decide to shield a Mirror Shot, which is, it's fine, but the Goodra and Golden Go are far too healthy to win, for us to win the game. Hopping into the next match, we have Dragonite on the lead. Now Dragonite can farm down Salamence, so we get a Dragon Tail damage, and then we swap into Golden Go. They don't bring in a Rhyperior, instead they bring in a Dragon Breath Gyarados, so this has me thinking, this is triple flying, because this was a previously old Master Premier team. They throw on suboptimal timing here. I shield because they don't really have a great way to get rid of Golden Go apart from charge moves. Shadow Ball coming through, and they decide to double shield on the switch. Okay, so I'm going to pivot back into Salamence. This should catch an Aqua Tail, because I was in the range of an Aqua Tail. Woohoo. They bring in a Metagross. Now Metagross Once again, it walls all of our moves, but we can throw an Outrage here. An Outrage is 110 base power in Pokemon Go. With Stab, it's 132. Shadow bonus makes it boost it up to like 150 something. So their Metagross is basically dead, but they have a bunch of energy. At this point, I have to call that they go for a Blind Meteor Mash, and they do, which is amazing. That means we can shield. Well, we can just let this go. They didn't even farm up to an Earthquake. 2 double resisted Meteor Mashes, and our Magnezone is still pretty healthy. They don't throw in the best timing here. And yeah, it's only a Dragon Claw, so we're gonna swap into Golden Go, snipe with a Dazzling Gleam. That actually doesn't KO because Dazzling Gleam is non-stab on Golden Go. They bring Gyarados and they throw a move here when they could have overfarmed a little bit more. This is gonna come back later because I can just farm up to basically a Wild Charge plus a Mirror Shot, knock out their Gyarados, and their Dragonite doesn't have enough energy to win the game. They would need a move here to charge attack priority our Magnezone. It's a very clean win. Going into the next match, we are at 2070 ELO, so it's not the best ELO. I use this team to climb to 2400 ELO, which is not bad for an ELO gain for a rotation. Salamence into Golisopod, so you may be thinking this is a good lead, because we resist Aqua Jet and we resist X-Scissor. They throw immediately, which is suboptimal timing. We get 2 turns of free fast moves, but they go for an Aerial Ace. We can throw on perfect timing just as they're about to reach the second Aerial Ace. This should force a shield. They let it go, which is fine. They bring in a Magnezone now. Magnezone is very, very tricky for this team to deal with, so I'm going to shield this here because it could be a Wild Charge. Wild Charge does a bunch of damage, they can pivot out after. And they bring in an Annihilate. Annihilate is not an answer to Golden Go at all. I can still live a Rage Fist from this range. I think it's very strange that they just let the Golisopod go down on the lead, but oh, we'll take it. Hex provides, the Hex buff for Golden Go was amazing for this season. 5-4 pacing to Shadow Ball, we get to force a shield, we swap out into Salamence to force their energy. Actually, we're going to shield this, which is a very debatable play by me. They swap into Magnezone. I go for an Outrage here, because a Fly is double resisted, Outrage single resisted, and it's gonna just kill the Magnezone. So now that Annihilate comes back in, they're no longer boosted because they reset their attack buffs, and this is not Rage Fist range, so they have to close combat, otherwise they lose. It is just a Rage Fist, so this is just a very, once again, clean win, because Magnezone isn't as glassy as it is in Master Premier as it is in Great League. Going into the next battle, a 43-point up pair, we lead into a Florges. So we're going to instantly swap into Golden Go. This is not very good because they answer with a Golisopod. Most Florges in this cup have a Golisopod in the back. So theoretically, Magnezone just core breaks them, but Magnezone isn't aligned to any of them. We're going to get bad alignment anyway. We should be able to force a shield here with 2 Shadow Balls. They already give up a shield, which is fine. They should let this second move go through, as shown, and they get a huge farm down, but if I bring in Salamence, they're only getting 1 move off, so I can just let this go. Aqua Jet or Aerial Ace, it's very easily tankable. They go for an Aqua Jet, okay. They bring in Florges again, and they have a Magnezone in the back. The important thing here is that our Salamence doesn't have any energy, it's just 1 Dragon Tail of energy. We're 12 turns away from a Fly. They go for a Mirror Shot here. I didn't quite see if they get the debuff or not. We're also going for a Mirror Shot. Mirror Shot's double resisted, it's not going to do any damage. It all depends on who goes for the Wild Charge first. And unfortunately, we win the CMP tie with a Wild Charge. Now what this means is that their move is going to do more damage than our move. Actually, that wasn't a CMP tie. It appears we just denied them. We shield the Wild Charge because that would have KO'd. We bring in Salamence. This should just be another Wild Charge. and it is, and they're bringing Florges and Farmers down. Now, their Florges is extremely healthy at this point. They have about 4 Fairy Winds of energy, and our Magnezone is only at half health. What this means is that we can no longer win the game, because Magnezone needs at least 70% health to live a Trailblaze plus a Moonblast. So here, they should just go for a Trailblaze into a Moonblast. We're slowly running out of health on Magnezone. We're going to shield here. This is probably another Trailblaze, but at this point we need to save as much health as possible. So we go for a Mirror Shot here, which is fine. They were about to reach a move of their own, but we need a Mirror Shot plus a Wild Charge here. Unfortunately, this is a Charge Attack priority tie, which means we will only be able to throw one move. The Mirror Shot doesn't KO. Maybe a Wild Charge would have KO'd from there. I'm not too familiar with this matchup. And the Trailblaze just knocks out our Magnezone. So that was a Florges Golisopod core and a 3-2. Florges Golisopod is a very problematic core for this team, and we will find out how to later beat that core in this video. So we are now at 2086 ELO. This is a 35-point up pair. Salamence into Magnezone. This is not that bad of a lead, because if they throw in bad timing and go for a Wild Charge, then we can just 2-shield farm them down. We see that the Magnezone is Best Buddy equipped, and they do throw in alignment. So they're now basically at 0 energy. They're bringing Rhyperior. Rhyperior is not an answer to Salamence. So I'm going to bait with a Fly here, because we have heaps of energy. This is a CMP tie to a Breaking Swipe. They call it, obviously, which is fine. We can just let this Breaking Swipe go through, because we do live it comfortably. But unfortunately, we will be in Mud Slap farm down range. So we swap into Golden Go, preserve some health. They should full send the Rock Wrecker here, which would be resisted, but it does a bunch of damage to Golden Go. At this point, we're down 2 shields. They bring in a Waterfall Gyarados, and this may be one of the only Pokemon that we may be able to beat down 2 shields. So they shield the Shadow Ball, which is a mistake. And then this appears to be a CMP tie to an Aqua Tail or a Crunch. Shadow Ball going through, gets 2 shields. They do throw a move here, which is a mistake. They should have committed to the farm down. Aqua Tail does KO. We must remember that we do have a move on Salamence. So we can just bring in Magnezone. They do just throw an alignment here. Again, it's poor mechanic on their end. They go for a Crunch. Now we can go for a Wild Charge. This Wild Charge will not KO. So I bring in Salamence. We go for the Outrage, because I'm not too certain that a Fly will KO from there. Although, yeah, I'd probably leave them at like 2 HP. They farm down our Salamence, and we are able to land a Mirror Shot against the Gyarados. This does more than 5%, so the Gyarados just faints. Going into the next match, we have a Florges on the lead, so we have learned our lesson. We are going to try and play for Salamence energy. So we go for 3 Dragon Tails and then swap into Golden Go. Obviously, they won't be throwing the Trailblaze first, like immediately. They bring in an Astonished Golden Go. This is bad, because they will be able to get the full farm down. We can force both shields, but that doesn't really mean anything if we're gonna have to use both shields anyway. So the Golden goes below 50% health. We will shield this move in case it's a Dazzling Gleam, but it appears that some Golden Goes are running Shadow Ball and Focus Blast. So we're going to shield this move as well. They did have a Moonblast banked on the Florges, so I was predicting that they would swap in. They don't, and I have to fire the Mirror Shot off immediately, otherwise they would reach another Shadow Ball. We do have a Fly banked on Salamence, which is very good. They throw a move on Florges immediately, which is very poor timing. Moonblast does not get the 10% debuff. We will go for the Mirror Shot here. They don't throw the second Moonblast immediately, which is alright, but we will get carried by another Moonblast. We do get the attack drop on the Mirror Shot. They keep on overfarming. And they finally throw a move here, when they could have just thrown one Fairy Wind and then the move, so they would have more energy. They do have a Waterfall Gyarados in the back, so we're going to full send the Outrage, and undercharge it very slightly, because then we'll have a move for the Florges. Now it turns out that was a perfect undercharge, because they only had just reached an Aqua Tail then, and now we have a Fly for the Florges. This is a... So, we did have a Florges on the lead with a Golden Go safe swap, but we were able to fight back because of the poor timing on the opponent's end, and because of Salamence energy. Salamence energy beats basically everything in this cup. Does about 56% to a Florges. Into the next match, we see a decent lead leading into Golisopod. Now, obviously, they will have... I am expecting a Florges in the back. They throw on poor timing, which is 5 Shadow Claws when they should be throwing on 7. Once again, this one is also running Aerial Ace. So we're able to farm up 3 extra Dragon Tails. They're now at the move. And this Fly should either just KO the Golisopod, which it does here. They bring in a Charm Primarinos. Okay. So we're going to bring in Golden Go, our soft answer, and they bring in a Rhyperior. This is very bad because... what is it? This is very bad because they got some chip damage with the charms on Primarina, so now they can just 2-shield and farm down. I do have to shield this because we have to try and force the next shield, because Magnezone will not be carrying this Rhyperior. Shadow Ball does land, and this is fine, because we can bring in Salamence, we can shield this, get very valuable Dragon Tail damage, but at this time, this switch timer is up. So I'm just going to swap into Magnezone. They do swap into the Charm Primarina. A Hydro Cannon is not ever KOing from this range. So the play here is just to go for a move here. A Mirror Shot I think would have been fine here. Wild Charge does KO. We do have a Mirror Shot banked. This should force their final shield. And then we are not far off a move on Salamence. It ends up being a CMP tie to the Fly, and obviously, Salamence, having extremely attack-weighted stats, wins the charge attack priority over Rhyperior, and we win the game. This is a very slight up pair, so it's fine. Leading into a Skeledoge. Skeledoge is a great Pokemon to see on the lead. Unfortunately, if they do end up getting a huge energy lead, we're going to have to, play out of our minds to defeat it. But they're bringing in Feraligatr. Now, Feraligatr is a bad Pokemon in Master Premier. It gets walled by Golisopod. We were able to bank a bunch of energy on Salamence before swapping into Golden Go. We did get a shield advantage as well. Now they go for a Hydro Cannon here. Okay. Now the funny thing is, I can just let this second Hydro Cannon go, because I will be able to reach a move regardless, as shown there. Now this either forces both shields or I get switch advantage. I do get both shields, and so, okay. Salamence energy beats everything. So we should come in with the Salamence here and go for a farm down. They do reach an Ice Beam, I'm going to shield it. At this point, we can't really lose this game, because even if it's Florges, as it is here, 2 Flies KO Florges, because Fly does 56% from a Shadow Salamence. If this was a regular Salamence, it would only do about 48. So we could just call this. It should just be a Trailblaze, it is, and we're just going to swap into Magnezone. Now what does this mean? It means that we do land a Wild Charge against a Skeledoge. We do have a move on Salamence banked for later in case we ever need to reach it. But they're in the Volt Switch farm down range. We can just shield this, go for the Mirror Shot. If that Mirror Shot doesn't KO, we have a move on Salamence. It's fine. So once again, a very clean game. And yeah, we can farm down the Florges. It appears that our phone is only on 12%. It's 11%, now it's charging. Okay, battle starting. This is quite a large down pair. We lead into another Florges. Okay, we learned from before. We're gonna do some Dragon Tails and try and bank some energy, swap into Golden Go. If they throw a move here, great. But they're overfarming heaps, and they're bringing an Annihilate. Annihilate is not an answer to Golden Go. They do not land a Moonblast for chip damage, so I'm not in Rage Fist range. So I will be able to either force burst shields or switch advantage here, because this Rage Fist is never KOing. I did not get chipped beforehand. Second Shadow Ball coming through. Will they decide to shield? They do. So they have 2 shield for switch advantage. Unfortunately, the opponent is not counting my energy, so I'm able to reach a 3rd Shadow Ball against an Annihilate. So now we're up 2-0 shields. We have switch advantage. They even throw energy on the Florges here. But yeah, the opponent is not playing this game very well. They decide to throw a move here, which means they are obviously weak to the Magnezone in the back. They bring in an Astonished Golden Go. So we're going to go for an Outrage here, because we should only reach 1 move. Obviously, an Outrage, 110 base power, does more than a Fire, which is, I think, 80 base power. So they will have to throw a move here, otherwise it's just a Simul KO. We're up 2 shields. We should be able to 2 shield flex in this Florges. But yeah, it appears that this opponent is just triple weak to Skeledirge, as we saw from the last game. We're going to go for the Wild Charge. Wild Charge should easily pick up the KO here, which it does. And we get the 2 shield flex, despite leading into a Florges. And we're able to see here that I went 5-0. So that's, what is it, a clean 8-2 with the team. Overall, not very bad. But there, yeah. Thanks for watching.